when I had to lose this, almost 10 pounds that I had gained a couple years ago, I was like, okay, let me go back to number one, revisiting my smoothies on a regular basis, getting stuff out of my diet that's healthy for me, but that is still high in, maybe like excess fat, like avocados and nuts and nut butters, right? If you're on a weight loss journey, healthy fats can still cause the scale to move up, even though they're not detrimental to your health from a heart and organ standpoint. But if you're trying to lose weight, healthy fats can just be too many calories per gram, period. And so there were things I had to revisit that I knew to be true that I had allowed myself to get kind of lackadaisical around because I was in a place of comfort where I was just telling myself which was true, which is I did it once, I could do it again. I did it once, I can do it again. Okay. And so here's what I need you to do. Just because someone can live with a disease doesn't mean they should. The overwhelming majority of prescriptions written today are written to treat lifestyle disease. Lifestyle disease is defined as conditions which can be attributed to the way in which a person lives. This includes things like physical activity, drinking, smoking, stress, the quality of our social connections, sleep, purposeful and professional alignment, and of course, our diet. But what if there was an alternative? What if before putting pen to pad, we had a comprehensive solution in lieu of pills and procedures? You are listening to the Plant Protocol podcast for current and aspiring health professionals who are done with simply managing chronic lifestyle challenges and are interested in taking a whole food, plant-based approach to combating them. I'm your host, Lisa A. Smith. It's time to come get this health. So I was out to dinner with a friend last night and I was telling her about a new project that I was working on in business and I wanted to get her opinion on it. And we were talking about a curriculum that I'm building and I was asking her, what does she think the length of the program should be based on the goal of the program? And she was giving me a really unbiased opinion. And I love asking people outside of my industry their opinion on projects that I'm working on because they don't have the insight and the perspective that I have, and the insight and perspective I have can be dangerous sometimes. And so I was asking her opinion about this project that I'm working on and what the length of it should be. And she was telling me that it should be pretty short and that it shouldn't be so robust based on the audience that I want to sell this project to. And one of the things that I had to tell her when it comes to developing curriculum, which is how I want to start our conversation this morning, is I had to tell her that, a length of a program, when you're a coach and you're somebody who creates curriculum-based programs, the length of your program should not be based on how many lessons you have to teach. The length of your program should be based on how long it takes somebody to embody the information. And so what I told her yesterday was, people need to be reminded more than they need to be taught. People need to be reminded more than they need to be taught. And what I want to share with you guys this morning is some reminders about what you already know. Today is really about reminders of what you already know, because a lot of times when we're in this health thing, when we're in this business thing, we're constantly looking for new strategies to reach our health goals. And for those of you who don't know my story, I've lost over 60 plus pounds. I've maintained my weight loss using a whole food, plant-based vegan lifestyle, exercise, purpose, radical obedience. There's a lot of things that can cause weight gain. There's a lot of things that have to be correct in order to keep it off, right? So I don't want to just act like health and a healthy weight is all just diet and exercise, because it's not. Okay, let's be clear about that. But I had to tell my friend yesterday, I had to tell her that people need to be reminded more than they need to be taught. But what's crazy is that coaches, when they're doing the teaching, clients, when they're doing the learning, they both seem to believe that new information is what needs to be present. And it's not true. And so I'm here today to remind you guys of something that you already know so that you can put things back in perspective and start moving the needle towards your health goals. Because let's be clear, you guys are very much driven. The majority of my audience are go-getters, entrepreneurs, independent thinkers, thought leaders. You guys are are brilliant. You got like degrees and stuff. Like you be making sophisticated posts and stuff, right? And so you guys, like, your health is really critical, not just because for the sake of being healthy, but because the health of your mind and the health of your brain determines the quality of your content, right? Determines the quality of your output. So it is extremely important that you guys maximize your health so that your output is the best, is excellent, right? And that's how it is for me. Like, I eat and drink and move and sleep and interact the way I do so that my brain is optimal. And so Myron Golden said something recently. I was listening to Myron Golden, and of course, he's a business coach and he's in the business sector, but he says something. And as we know, wealth and health constantly overlap. So a lot of things that Myron says, I'm able to make it make sense in the health space, right? And so Myron Golden says something super, super poignant recently. He said, decay and decline. He said, decay and decline only requires neglect. Lean in and listen close. Write this down for yourself, because a lot of you guys are trying to lose weight. You're trying to get off medications. You're trying to reverse conditions. You're trying to feel better. You got chronic aches and pains. You have, nutritional deficiencies. You're on all of these supplements and vitamins and protein powders. Like you're trying to try all this fancy stuff. You're considering surgery. Now you want the weight loss shot. You're like, what's the new thing that I can try to reach my goals, especially if it's weight loss? And I need to remind you of something that you already know, which is this. Decay and decline only requires neglect. What that means is, and this is the context that I put it in, if you're listening to my voice right now and you're unhealthy, you're overweight, you're unwell, you have a diagnosis, or even if you don't have a diagnosis, but you know something is off, you're having stomach issues, you're having chronic headaches, migraines, constipation, inflammation, joint pain, listen to me very closely. It's more than likely not because you're doing something wrong, but because you stopped doing something right. Okay. Decay and decline only requires neglect. It doesn't require you to do something wrong. Like sometimes when we're trying to lose weight and we're trying to get healthy, we look at our regimen, we look at our day to day, we look at everything and we're like, I must be doing something wrong. I'm eating too much of this or too little of this, or I'm supposed to be taking this, or I'm exercising wrong, or I'm sleeping wrong. But sometimes things are not moving in the right direction, not because you're doing anything wrong, but because you've stopped doing something right. And today I'm here to remind you of all the right things that you used to do for optimal health that you stopped doing. Because here's what I need you guys to understand. Health is still extremely simple and fundamental. I understand that the advances in technology, the advances in medicine would lead us to believe that there's a simpler way, that there's a quicker way, that there's a way to avoid the hard work, that there's a way to avoid detox and withdrawals when you let the caffeine go and let the sugar go. It's not. There's no way to avoid that. Health is still very fundamental. Health is still very much drinking the water, eating the fruits and vegetables, staying out of the drive-thrus, exercising consistently, good sleep hygiene, eliminating chronic stress, not managing it, but eliminating it. Like health is still all of that. Health is still quality relationships with the people in your life. That's health. But so many of us are looking for something new and we're like, oh my God, I must be doing something wrong. And you're not. You just stopped doing all the right things. So I lost weight back in 2012 is when I started my health journey. Okay. 2012 is when I started my health journey, and I hired my first personal trainer in January of that year. And Tiffany helped me lose my first 30 pounds, just exercising and trying to eat slightly better. I wasn't a vegan yet. Like I wasn't conscious about nutrition yet. I wasn't a personal trainer myself yet. I wasn't an entrepreneur yet. I was just working a 9-to-5 as a social worker and sick of being overweight and insecure in my body. Okay. So Tiff helped me and she started me on the journey to weight loss. And then with her help, I lost my first 30 pounds. I moved out the country. I lost another 35 pounds. And so I started in 2012. By 2013, I had lost over 65 pounds naturally, meaning no supplements, no surgery, no shots, no appetite suppressants, like just diet, exercise, right? And this is pre-veganism. Then when I adopted a whole food, plant-based vegan lifestyle, that's when I was able to easily with minimal effort, maintain my weight loss. And here I sit today, abs popping, feeling good, looking good, super secure in my body. Okay. Now, fast forward a couple years later, I started gaining some of the weight back, and it didn't go past 10 pounds, right? But I started gaining some of the weight back. And so I had to sit back and dissect the whole situation. And I'm like, why am I gaining this weight back? Like, what's going on? Like, I'm vegan, whatever. And so I started looking at and thinking about all the things I had done to lose the weight. And I started comparing that, juxtaposing that against the things I was doing today. And I realized exactly what I just told you guys. It wasn't that I was doing something wrong. I had stopped doing something right. And this is what happens sometimes when we get comfortable, right? We get settled in and we're like, I got this. If I did it once, I could do it twice. If I've done it twice, I could do it 3 times. And that's when we get in this comfort zone. So what have you stopped doing right that is preventing your weight loss? What have you stopped doing right that is preventing you from having good energy all day versus crashing in the middle of the day? What have you stopped doing right that is now causing you to have nutritional deficiencies, causing you to consider all of this man-made supplementation? What have you stopped doing right that is now causing the aches and the pains, the constipation, the stomach issues, the joint issues, the headaches? What have you stopped doing right that has caused your numbers to start creeping back up? You stop reading labels on the food before you put it in your grocery cart, right? You have stopped drinking as much water as you used to drink. Right? You have stopped being intentional about fruits and vegetables and making sure you were getting that in on your plate every day. Okay. You have stopped practicing self-control. You ever lose the weight, start feeling a little better, and you're like, where you used to really micromanage your snacking and your treats. Now you kind of let it let it fall to the wayside and you eat as much as you want. You have stopped practicing self-control. You have stopped cooking healthy meals. You're falling back into the convenience and the comfort zone and the fast food and the takeout and the packaged stuff, right? You have stopped monitoring your snacking. You have stopped exercising consistently and with intention. Maybe you're still moving. You still go to the gym, but you're not there as long and you don't work as hard when you're there anymore. Again, it's not about you doing something wrong. Stop trying to find a new strategy. The point is, guys, the things that you were doing to get the result that you got still works. I need you guys to stop falling for the banana in the tailpipe, i.e. the weight loss crap in the syringe. I need you guys to stop falling for, there must be an appetite suppressant. There must be a quick fix. There must be a pill I can take. There must be a powder I can consume. There is no shortcut. Everything that you know to be true about being healthy is still true. You're not doing anything wrong. You just stopped doing something right. Decay and decline only requires neglect. So the numbers are creeping back up because you have neglected the regimen that got you to where you were. And that was my situation a couple years ago. I'm like, yo, I don't like all this extra weight on my legs. Now, this is my personal preference. I hadn't got to a place where I hadn't gained so much weight back where like I was considered overweight or obese, but I was creeping up. I was still kind of in the vanity weight gain where like I gained some weight, but it's not a health risk, right? Some of you guys have regained so much weight that it's become a health risk because all of that visceral fat around your organs is problematic, right? But I hadn't gained so much weight back that it become a health risk, but I had stopped doing so many things that I knew to be true that I was still in the vanity stage of health of my extra weight being a risk. Does that make sense? And the higher that number goes on the scale, then it becomes a health risk. It goes from like a preferred vanity situation to a alarm, like, no, this is becoming a health risk. Now you're putting extra pressure on your joints. Now you're covering your liver and your heart with visceral fat, and that's going to compromise the functioning of those organs. Like now we're getting into, kind of like danger zone. And it's only because you stopped doing something right. Like You stop being accountable to your accountability partner. You stop being accountable to your coach. You let go of all the stuff your coach taught you to do. Like I run into people in the street all the time, that know me and recognize me. Like they came to my health classes, they've taken farm to table. It happens to me all the time. And inevitably they will, without me asking, go straight into a progress report. Like I might not have seen them in a year or two. And as soon as people run into me, they feel compelled to move into a progress report. Like, just so you know, I'm still drinking my water. I'm still reading my labels. I'm not doing as good with my sugar. I need to get back on that. Like, I didn't ask for this, right? But it's something about seeing your coach that automatically makes you feel guilty or feel compelled to report, right? And so maybe for you, you have stopped being accountable to your coach or to your accountability partner. When it comes to weight loss, when it comes to health, when it comes to business, like things aren't failing because you're doing something wrong. You stop doing something right. You stop showing up publicly on your channel as consistently as you used to. Like the revenue is not in because you've stopped asking for the sale. You went back into your comfort zone and your insecurity, and you stop asking people to buy from you. Go back to when you were asking people to buy from you. Like you stop doing something right. You stop getting quality sleep. You stop prioritizing quality time with people you love, which automatically drives down stress hormone levels in your body, right? And so I want us to remember that. And so when I had to lose this, almost 10 pounds that I had gained a couple years ago, I was like, okay, let me go back to number one, revisiting my smoothies on a regular basis, getting stuff out of my diet that's healthy for me, but that is still high in, maybe excess fat, like avocados and nuts and nut butters, right? If you're on a weight loss journey, not avocados and healthy fats can still help cause the scale to move up, even though they're not detrimental to your health from a heart and organ standpoint. But if you're trying to lose weight, healthy fats can just be too many calories per gram, period. And so there were things I had to revisit that I knew to be true that I had allowed myself to get kind of lackadaisical around because I was in a place of comfort where I was just telling myself, which was true, which is, I did it once, I could do it again. I did it once, I can do it again. Okay. And so here's two things that I need you guys. Here's the takeaway. Two things I need you guys to do. Number one, you need a fundamental shift in your belief. A fundamental shift in your belief. Be very careful with getting distracted by these new things in our culture that's telling us like this is an easier way to be healthy. The fundamentals still work when it comes to health. Like drinking water still works. Like reading labels still work. Like cooking healthy meals, fruits and vegetables still works. Exercising still works. Getting good sleep and rest, doing the hard work of eliminating chronic stress, doing the hard work of beating food addictions. All of that still works. Like you don't need to add, like, Lisa, what's a superfood that's going to make the weight come off faster? What? Lisa, no, intermittent fasting still works. Like all the stuff still works. It didn't stop working. You did. Okay. Somebody said, say it again. I just heard y'all say that in my head. The things that you know to be right did not stop working. You did. So the behavior that was at the root of my weight gain was really misbehavior. It was, I stopped doing something right. I stopped doing the things that I already know to be true. So here's a fundamental shift in belief that I need you to have in order for you to reach your health goals, because your business is relying on it. Your purpose and your assignment is relying on it. Like, I don't know what makes you guys think you could be unwell and radically obedient, but those things can't coexist. Like radical obedience requires you to be the absolute best version of yourself. Radical obedience is all about complete surrender to what you're called to do. And you can't be unwell and in a state of complete surrender because you're you're out of balance. You're not at a place of homeostasis in your body and your mind. And so that's going to cause you to be out of balance, right? And radical obedience requires you to be in balance. Okay. And so I need you to start back doing what you already know to be true. I need you to stop asking us, coaches and subject matter experts, for some new and improved the hot off the press process that you had never heard of before. Eating the kale still works. Drinking the water still works. Stop eating all that salty and sugary mess. That still works. Like, that's not broken. That system is not broken. You don't need to inject yourself with something. You don't need to take all these man-made supplements because you refuse to cook a healthy meal. Like, the right thing is still right. It still works. Okay. Now, here's what I need you to do. 2 beliefs. Number 1, the first belief that I had to shift when I gained this weight back was that this is for life. I needed to embody. The first thing I needed to embody was that the exercise that I'm doing, my plant-based vegan lifestyle, the fact that I don't eat sugar, minimal oil, all of this stuff, like not a whole bunch of that processed junk food, like the thing you need to embody in order to lose the weight and keep it off, in order to reach the health goal and maintain a health status, is that this is it. Like, this is my life now. It's like health has to become second nature. It can't be hard forever. Like, you're going to have to do the hard work to finding your rhythm with health. It's not like, oh, let me get this 40 pounds off and then it has to consistently be a practice for you, and it has to be second nature. Right? It has to become second nature. I need you guys to embody this, like write this down, like repeat this over and over and over again in your head. Like, when it comes to my exercise, when it comes to drinking water every day, when it comes to eating plants every damn day, when it comes to abstaining from the drive-thrus and the fast food and all of the sugar, like this, it has to be a part of who I am. So the question becomes, what's required for something to become a core value for you? But the first belief that I had to embody to get this like 10 pounds off and keep off the other 50 pounds I had already lost was, damn, this is for life. Like, it's not even like it's not like a 90-day situation. It's not a 360, like, let me just go hard for a year. And like, this is for life. Like, embody that. Like, there are some practices, like in my relationship with God, I had to realize, like, no, just like, you got to pray like God is your friend now. Like, you have to lean on him regularly. Like, you're not going to get to a place where you good. You get what I'm saying? Like, my relationship with God is for life. My relationship with health and the gym and my plant-based lifestyle and water and sleep and purpose is like, if you want to keep this weight off, everything that you did to get it off is for life now. Y'all gonna have to I understand that this sounds crazy and wild, but just going hard in the gym for a couple months and then thinking there's a place where you're gonna coast doesn't exist. Like, if I want these abs over 40, this is for life. Like, it's not a matter of, it's not a temporary. So that's the first thing you have to embody. Like, I need you to embody that belief in your spirit. I need you to understand that this has to become an extension of who I am. Like, people have to now look at you and know, oh, health is a core value. It's a crazy notion. But like, there's people, like millions of us, that have done it. Health wasn't a core value. We made health a core value. And now we have embodied it so much that it's a natural extension of who we are. Right. And so it might not be first nature. It can definitely become second nature. Right. So first, it's a non-negotiable, like your water, your plants every day, your exercise is a non-negotiable. And over time, as you're consistent with it as a non-negotiable, it then becomes a ritual. And that's when it has become just a part of who you are naturally. Right. And so that's the first thing I had to embody. The second thing, before I let y'all go, that I had to embody in order to finally keep the health off from a belief standpoint. Because, I don't tell y'all just what to do. I got to tell y'all what to believe, or else y'all will mess it up. Okay. Y'all will be doing the things and y'all beliefs ain't changed. And then what we going to do? Okay. So the second thing I need you to believe is that some things in moderation, most things in abstinence. Some things in moderation, most things in abstinence, depending on what your health and your assignment requires from you. Like, my assignment requires me to be 100% sugar free. Now, I can't moderate sugar. Like, I speak too much. I teach too much. I got to teach tonight. I got to teach tomorrow night. I got to teach Wednesday morning, and I got to teach again Wednesday night. And then I got to speak on Saturday. Like I have to teach about 5 times this week. They're all for different audiences. They're all on different subject matters. Some in, like tonight, I'm teaching business. I'm teaching how to create curriculum and coaching programs for an organization tonight. Tomorrow night, I got to teach in my mastermind. That's personal development. Wednesday morning, I got to teach in the plant protocol for our School of Business Acumen. Wednesday night, I'm teaching a masterclass on how to combat chronic stress and sugar addiction. Y'all should all be there Wednesday, April 10th at 7 p.m. EST. It's free. You might as well get in the room because I'm sugar free, so I'm going to be on fire. Saturday, I'm going to be in Omaha on a stage doing Q&A for a film that people are watching that I'm in. Like my assignment requires me to be sugar free. I can't even risk memory lapse. I can't risk the fatigue that comes with eating sugar. I have to be bright-eyed and bushy-tailed at every single one of these engagements. So the second thing that I had to embody, y'all, was that some things in moderation, most things abstinence. This everything in moderation approach to life and to health is complete crap. There is no way that everything in moderation works. It's not possible. Like I'm not about to just eat a little dairy in moderation. Like I promise you, like I can't afford the things it does to my skin. It's things it does to my stomach, the things that and I need you to understand what that is for you. Like everything in moderation does not apply to everybody. Matter of fact, everything in moderation doesn't apply to anybody. So the thing I need you to figure out is what can you afford to have in moderation and what just needs to be abstinence. Even if it's hard to do, like giving up sugar is hard to do. I get it. But if y'all understood the type of inflammation that it causes in your body, if you understood most importantly what it does to your brain, you would then have better data to make a better decision. Okay. So in order for you to go back to doing what you already know to be true, because you guys need to be reminded more than you need to be taught. So in order for you to go back to do what you need to to be true in order to reach your health goals, to get the weight off, I need you to embody, number one, that this process, this regimen is for life. You got to embody it. You got to get that in your spirit. Like there is no finish line. Like as long as my eyes are open and as long as my feet hit the floor every single day, health has to become an extension of who I am. It needs to become a core value. It needs to become second nature. So I need to be doing the things I enjoy. I need to find a way to enjoy the things I'm doing so that they are second nature and they're not always a struggle and a hassle and it's not always a fight to get them done. This is for life. The second thing I need you to embody is some things in moderation, most things in abstinence. Stop thinking because you see everybody else eating candy, eating junk, in the drive-thrus, drinking soda, drinking alcohol. Some of y'all need to just be off the alcohol straight up. Like I was talking to somebody just the other day and he was like, man, when I hit 50, alcohol didn't serve me. Like I can't even process the same way. He was like, I just got to be done with it. I was like, I feel you. Right. And so like some things in moderation, other things need to be you got to be honest with yourself. Like, dang, I really used to enjoy this, but I can't even enjoy it like I used to. You got to stop trying to force that stuff. You feel horrible every time. Like, why are you trying to force it? Just let it go. Some things in moderation, most things in abstinence. That's what I need you to embody. Listen, here's the takeaway today, guys. I need you to embody, number one, that this is for life. I need you to embody, number two, that some things in moderation, most things in abstinence. And the third thing I need you to remember is that decay and decline only requires neglect. Shout out to Myron Golden. That means that it's not that you're doing something wrong in your health. You have just started neglecting it, right? You stop doing something right. So I want you to think about and revisit the things that you used to do to optimize your health that you have slacked on. And it's time to revisit those things. Okay. It's been a pleasure. I'm back here on Instagram. Okay. Kiwi gave me the green light. Oh, whew. And so I will see you guys back here same time next week. Love you guys. Bye. You tuned in today because like me, you're a disruptor. You're passionate about health and you have firsthand experience of taking a whole food plant-based approach to combating chronic health challenges. You want to see lifestyle and dietary modifications become the norm in the way in which we practice healthcare. However, you need mastery around nutrition and lifestyle science, a better understanding of behavior change to improve client compliance, and confidence in your ability to effectively coach clients to adopting those lifestyle modifications. You need the plant protocol. Visit theplantprotocol.com to apply, and let's work together to improve the way in which we care for our most prized possession, our health. Thank you so much for listening today. If you enjoyed what you heard, please consider rating and reviewing this podcast. Until next time, remember, radical obedience is still undefeated. Stay obedient.